Greetings, I'm Doc V, and today my topic is on choosing your battles. We've got kids running around here that have access to guns. Kids with guns is a very dangerous phenomenon going on in our society right now. Kids get angry over the smallest things. You talk about their mama, they're ready to fight you, they're ready to shoot you. They don't even know your mama. You talk about the shoes are out of date and you're looking kind of tacky. They make fun of you because the girl told you she's not letting you take her to the prom, and people get upset. You punked me out. You disrespected me, and then they start talking about, I'm going to beat you down, and you can't whoop them, so you go get your mama's gun and you shoot them. This is crazy. Now, adults, mature adults, we get in conflicts also, and we get in situations where we have to confront someone at times. But with an adult, there's probably only three things that cause adults to have to face off. Three things. One, if you mess with their children, if you mess with their finances, or if you mess with their boo. So what is their boo? Boo is their significant other. Let me give you a sample of one of these situations. On my job, there was a young man that liked to flirt with the ladies. He didn't care if you were married, single, dating someone. He didn't care. If you look good, he's trying to flirt with you. Well, there was a married woman at the job. I'll call her Mrs. H. And she told the young man, please, just back off. I do not want to play your games. I'm married. Leave me alone. Well, he didn't listen to that. So after about 3 or 4 confrontations, she told her husband. Husband, 6'2", 240 pounds, came to the job and walked up on the man and said, look, my wife told me that you've been walking up to her, making slide comments to her. Well, she's married. I'm her husband. You don't come up to her anymore. You don't walk up to her. Y'all don't even work in the same department. She's in the science department, you over in the athletic department. You leave her alone. If I got to come back to this school and talk to you again about messing with my wife or getting her upset, I'm going to close the school down with you. Do you understand me? Do you understand? The man backed off, walked away. Do you think he messed with that teacher again? No, he did not. Several circumstances can confront you or can cause you to have to face off with someone. And again, it's the finances, it's messing with your children, it's messing with your significant other. Let me give you another example. A friend of mine, son came home beat down, clothes tore up, mud all over his shirt, lip busted. Son, what happened? He said, this bully keeps beating me up. Well, why don't you just walk away from him? Did you try to fight him? I can't, Dad. I can't fight him. This particular friend of mine is small in stature, about 5'7", weighs about 160 pounds, and his son took after his dad, small. The kid that's beating him up is a big kid. His dad is like 6'3", 230 pounds, and he just pounds the boy every day just for fun. So anyway, the father, as fathers do, doesn't matter how big you are, doesn't matter how small dad is, you're messing with my kid, I'm going to see about it. So the father goes over to the house and he rings the doorbell to speak to the boy's father. Boy's father comes to the door. What's going on? Well, I'm calling because your son keeps putting his hands on my son. Well, he needs to learn to fight. He needs to get himself together. Don't come to my house talking about this mess anymore. And he slams the door on him. Now, some people in this situation would take matters into their own hands, maybe get a gun, maybe set the house on fire. My friend didn't do this. He went through DFACS, Department of Family and Children's Services. He went to the police department. He went to the youth detention centers. He went and got all the paperwork together that he could find. He went and did the research, talked to his attorney, got everything together. Took him about a week. And he came back to the man, rang the doorbell, the man opens the door. What do you want? I said, I told you not to come by my house anymore. Your boy can't fight. Teach him how to fight. My friend handed him the paperwork. He said, if your son touches my son again, you can check that paperwork out. your son will be removed from the school immediately and be transferred over to an alternative school. And you will be liable for damages, hospital bills, anything else that your son causes. And the man snatched the paper from him and looked at it and slammed the door. And my friend walked off, went onto the car, got in the car. Next day, son came home, said, "Son, is everything all right?" I said, "Yes, Dad. I saw the boy, he walked by, he didn't say anything to me." Now, this is the legal way, the proper way to handle something. How many know that sometimes things do not get handled in a proper way? I got another example. This man's house was getting robbed every day. Somebody was breaking into his garage and stealing items out of his garage. And then he noticed the neighbor boy playing with some of the objects or some of the things that this man knew that he owned and that was in his garage. So he went over to the young man's house and he said, "Sir, your son has been breaking into my house. He's stealing things from my house." And no, my son's not stealing anything from your house. "Well, he's got some items that are mine, and he's had that for like a couple of weeks. My son didn't steal that from you. He's been playing with that for a couple of weeks." My neighbor said, "It's been going on for a couple of weeks. Talk to your son." He said, "Son, did you steal this?" And, "No, Papa, I didn't steal it." This went on. So finally, the man said, "I got to do something." So he called his brother and he said, "Could you fly my nephew down here? Could you fly him down here? Can we handle this? This is what's going on. I have a neighbor, his son is stealing from me, he's breaking into my house. I don't know what to do. The police don't have enough evidence. I can't catch him doing it. He keeps tripping my alarm system, but he avoids the camera. What can I do? Could you send your son down here?" He said, "I know what you're trying to do. I'm gonna let you fly my son down here. It's summer break. We're gonna handle this." He flies the son down and he says, "Now, I don't want you to do anything too bad, but see that boy over there? He's been stealing my things and I need you to make sure he doesn't do it again." He said, "Uncle, I got you." So he looks out the window, sends his nephew over there. Nephew jumps right on the boy. He says, "Don't you steal from my uncle again. Don't you come over to the house again." Comes home. Uncle says, "Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't think we're going to have any problems out of him again." And the next flight out, he flies his nephew up. And for the next couple of weeks, nothing was stolen from the man's garage or from the back of his house again. Now, do I recommend this kind of actions? No. But you understand, you get it. You don't mess with anyone's children, and also you don't mess with their favorite uncle either. There's choices we have to make when we decide to do crime. There's decisions we have to make when we decide to get into a conflict with someone or to get into a situation where we are troubling the waters. I have another example for you. Gable, come here. Come here, boy. This is Gable. Gable is my Doberman. He's about a year old. Come here, boy. Come here. Come here, boy. Come here. Don't try this at home. Now, Gable just turned a year old, and he weighs about 75 pounds. He'll be full grown at about 85, 90 pounds. Now, I don't recommend you doing the slap boxing a Doberman like this. Hey, boy. Hey. I don't recommend you trying this with any dog. Gable happens to be my pet. I raised him up. I had him as a puppy when he weighed 14 pounds. I got him. And I can pop him in the mouth, and there's not going to be any consequences to that. If you come to my yard and I am not there and you start popping Gable in the mouth, there might be a problem. There might be an issue. That's not a wise battle. That's not wise. If someone talks about your mama and you're going berserk, trying to cut them off on the road, trying to punch them in the middle of the line in the bank, that's going to be a problem. That's not a good battle. That is not a good battle to choose to be in. Once again, 3 things cause you to have to face off with someone. If you mess with their spouse, if you mess with their finances, or if you mess with their children, you might have a serious situation to deal with on your hands. After that, if they're not at your house, if they're not messing with your car, you can walk off and let this thing go. We have a lot of people that are getting shot because of road rage. Somebody cut you off and you're going to follow them to the house. There was a situation in the news years ago. This man got cut off and he was upset, so he followed this car, honk, 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 followed this car all the way over to the man's house. 25, 30-minute drive. He just kept riding his bumper, following him all the way over to his house. The man pulled up in his driveway and got out of his car, and the man ran up on him, and the owner of the home turned around and shot him dead. Guess what? There were no charges brought against this man. No charges at all. He drove home. He tried to get away from the assailant. The assailant came after him in his own driveway in his home, ran up on him, and he got shot dead. In summary, we must choose our own battles. Certain things you need to rise up and fight about. Certain things we need to protest. Certain things, there are certain times where you might have to put your hands on someone. I hate to promote that, but if somebody comes in the back of your house and they're heading toward your wife and kids, we live in a day and time where we just have to be careful. We have to be vigilant, and we have to be wise when we are trying to live this life. We have to choose our battles carefully. Protect your family, protect your loved ones, protect your future investments. Do it with wisdom. Think before you act. I'm Doc V, and I'll see you next time.